the internet. My name is Teddy. Oh! Jesus Christ. So much for that intro. Welcome, friends. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. You were just watching a walk snail build on a 75 Pro frame with 1002s and tri-blades. Didn't look very good, did it? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it didn't explode when I crashed it a couple times, but I'm gonna get this to the jungle gym and see if it's maybe any better there. But I was not really all that impressed with this setup. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't good. It really didn't do anything that the regular 75 that I've been working on a lot lately did. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. A little bit more flying, but it wasn't like a lot of people seem to think that the 75 Pro stuff is God's gift to everything. But you know, we've already got sliced bread, so can't be that good. This thing is going to be flashing because I forgot to hit that button, and that button. All better. Welcome, my friends. Today is Fix All the Things Friday. I went to chase the little RC drift cars yesterday, and I was like, all right, cool. I put the 36,000 kV motors on this little walk snail rig. Let's fly it. And two of the motors are spinning the wrong direction, so I couldn't fly that one. And then I put the new flight controller into this one, made it a little bit lighter. This is the analog chase rig, and something's wrong. It wouldn't bind. It wasn't bound. I don't know. We got to look into this one. And then I started flying this guy with the 0603 30,000s on the GemFan 1219Ss, and it was flying away. So there's something wrong with this. And then I ended up flying this guy a little bit, but we'll just fly it and check it. And this analog rig with the 36,000 kV motors has this really ultra infinitely lightweight antenna, which is silly. The motors have plenty of power, so we're going to put the Singularity antenna back on it. We'll talk more about this one and maybe put it up in the air. The Jungle Gym Basher is getting slightly higher kV motors. We can maybe do that. We'll have run out of time long before we get to the next rig that's in the lineup here. This is my full-time job. If you like these live streams and would like to see them continue, join the party, my friends! Head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Patreon helps me out the most. You can join the Patreon for $3 whole a month. That's 10 cents a day. Walk around, just looking around, find a couple pennies, find like a quarter. That covers you for 2.5 days. If you're into FPV, you got a couple of bucks. It's not the cheapest hobby in the world. Do yourself a favor. Help me keep doing this, and I'll keep telling you the stuff that sucks. And then as you save 40, 50, 60, 100, $200 on things that suck, you're welcome. And we'll build an awesome little community together as well. Let's not forget about that. That's one of the coolest things that we got going on around here. I swear to God, this mouse, I'm going to light this mouse on fire in front of all of you as a warning to all other mice. AJ Farrer with a $10 super chat. Thank you, homie. He says, because your hair is so pretty. I just got out of the shower. Maybe that's why. Is this a little bright? What's happening here? What's happening? Is this? I feel like there's something's wrong. Something ain't right. Hold on. Am I stopping up or stopping down? Hang on. Let me just take a quick look. Hang on. Something got jostled, I think. What is that? What am I doing here? Oh, it's already at f5.6. 30 frames. How do I get into adjust the... I want to open this lens up a little bit more. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So we got that going for us. That's going to throw the... Oh, God! Hold on. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix this. We're going to just bring that down a little bit. Bring this down a little bit. And... Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait. Now it's... We went too far. We went a little bit too far. Hold on. Man screws with lighting. This shirt is available over on Teespring, which is linked over at CiottiFPV.com. Are we good now? I think we're good now. That's about where it should be. Background is lighter because it's being lit separately, but that's okay. Let's see. Oh no, we've gone too far, man. We've gone too far. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. If you've got like a light in, so this is like, this is a lava lamp and it looks like it's a light, right? The lava lamp doesn't actually put out. So this is, if you guys have ever noticed, right? I bought Joshua a blue lava lamp that sits on his workbench over there, and but his lighting setup is very bright, so his room is very bright. The lava lamp looks like it's not even on. It is on, but it looks like it's not even on. Lava lamps don't really put much, if any, light out. But you can kind of fake it with a separate light, which is... I've talked about this before, but it's been a while. So I've got a red light over here that, like, fakes the lava lamp. You see that? See what I'm doing there? See what I'm cooking up there? Isn't that cool? So, like, when this red light is on, I'm just kind of moving it around a little bit right now. It's faking. Isn't that cool? Lighting 101, my friends. That's like lighting 103. That's fancy stuff. Yeah. So I meant to. I wanted to open the f-stop up a little bit on this camera to throw the background out of blur, out of focus rather, a little bit, to see if I like it. So far I don't, but maybe it'll grow on me. The one thing I really don't like is, oh God, dog, that's been bothering me, is that. and now it's fine. That's been bugging me for weeks, and I kept forgetting to fix it. So you'll notice there's big holes in the wall back here. These are the two DJI Cinewhoops. I've got a gig tomorrow, first gig of the year, which is great, thank God. January, February, March are always very slow because it's cold out. So yeah, excited. So I pulled those down. I put whenever I have stuff coming up the next day, next couple of days, I'll put it on the coffee table just to remind myself to keep looking at it, keep throwing it in the beta flight, and just don't forget, basically. So yeah. Over on CiottiFPV.com, in addition to Patreon, in addition to Teespring, okay, this must stop, dog. This is not gonna happen the entirety of the live stream. I'm so sorry, buddy. I know I'm a monster. I know it's just the worst, but this is just life, my friend. Life is one constant disappointment, Teddy. I don't know what to tell you. It's just one big shit show that we've all got to take a bite of. That's just the way it is, my little fuzzy friend. Teespring for the shirt, Patreon to support me. Just blindly support me. You get a bunch of good stuff, though. You get a couple of Facebook groups. You get full Discord access. And a link to a playlist here on YouTube with unreleased stuff. Patreon-only live streams. Sketchy flying. I don't want to be public. All kinds of good stuff. All for the low price of $3 a month. What else is going on over there? There's a bunch of affiliate links. At this point, you're here on YouTube. You're watching free content. The people that make the free content for you to watch, it helps them to have a couple extra dollars, and you can give them free dollars by using affiliate links. Use someone's affiliate links when you check out on the internet. If you buy stuff on the internet, you can get people that make the videos that you watch free money so that they can make better videos. So yeah, just at this point, if you're doing an order on the internet, use an affiliate link. I have affiliate links for a ton of different websites, including Amazon, GetFPV, RayStay Quads now, and a whole bunch more. WeBleed. So yeah, get your affiliate link on. Change your bookmarks to people's affiliate links. That's a really easy way to do it. There's a million ways that you can support creators by using affiliate links. Do it! It makes a huge difference. And it's free. It doesn't affect you in any way. You just move on about your life, and we get a couple of bucks. I gotta disconnect my phone from the stream. So yeah, that's how you can support me, my friends. There's also an Etsy store with some fun stuff, but you'll see it all when you get there. And in the very bottom of my website, there's some really fun stuff that you'll get a giggle out of. Troy Prelog, Hockey Rounds, Danzilla, The Terrible, Curtis Hayes, Volusia, Walter Van Den, Whoop Squad, Quadverse is in the house. What's up, Quadverse? How are you? The best micro podcast.
In the world.
Something wrong with me. It really is, though. Go check it out on all the podcast spots. It's amazing. You're going to love it. Hockey Rounds, Curtis Hayes, 16-bit FPV, Mr. Huggy, Raging Leap, Brad Mondin, Matty FPV, Anonymous, Timmons, Curtis Hayes again, Douglas Otwell, Kilo Zebra, Playmate 1, AJ Farah, Justin Waller, Hockey Rounds, Scotty Scott, Ethan W., Prop Junkie, Gusto FPV, Kilo Zebra, Rodolphe, Big Fran, Prop Junkie, Demo FPV, Limits, AJ Farah, thanks again for the $10 super chat, much appreciated. Robert Rosser, CMYK FPVs in the house, 16-bit, Brent Anderson, Mick Mucus, Dennis Matovich. Who else is here? Big Fran, Free Lojo, Hockey Rounds, Jarbeezy. I think I got everybody. What's up, friends? Thanks for coming. Support your boy, and I'll keep doing it forever. The background is way brighter with the so the background is lit separately than the foreground, and by opening the f-stop up on the camera, it's going to make the background get lighter. Desk floor lamp. I don't like how bright it is over here. I want this to be down a little bit. But that light bulb is not... Yeah, I'm going to have to do this. I can't do this quickly. It's just going to be a little bit brighter today. Okay, cool. So, what are we doing here? Denzel, hey, if you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all I got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange for me. You can do that with each other. If you type someone's name into your chat comment, that person will see their name in orange, and it'll grab their attention. Denzel Otero said, word to your mom, CiottiFPV et al. Curtis Hayes says, CiottiFPV is busy putting mousse in his hair for our group date. This is not a group date. This would be the worst group date ever. Nah, not ever. Brad Bondin says, I have a 1303 11,400 kV motor limited down to 8,000 for a 2S 111 gram build. Cruise throttle is at 44%. What are the limiting factors when pushing up kV for lower throttle percent? What are the limiting factors when pushing up kV for lower throttle percent? What's that mean? Or I'm gonna make a couple assumptions because I can't figure that question out. I'm gonna assume that you want your cruise throttle to be lower. Easiest thing to do would be to take a little bit of throttle limiting out, a little bit of motor limiting out. Motor limit it down to like 9,000 kV instead of 8,000. That will lower your cruising throttle. And then yeah, if you don't want that extra power, just don't ever go full throttle, or like go to full throttle and then bounce down, right? This is actually getting at a really good point. Your cruising throttle percent is, to some extent, there's more to it than this, but one of the major contributing factors is going to be how much power the rig has, how high the kV is. So if you go to a higher kV motor, your cruising throttle is going to get lower, because when you go to a higher kV motor, you don't get extra travel on the throttle lever, right? Stick. So yeah, if in this range there's more power, the cruising throttle is going to be lower. The motor manufacturers can do things to make the cruising throttle higher and lower. We see this in Chris Rosser has actually started talking about this and showing it in some of his motor testing, which is really, really cool. You'll see, like, he'll have a graph of from 0% throttle to 100, for you guys it's this way, and the line goes up like this. There'll be certain motors that go like that. There'll be other motors that go linear, and there'll be other motors that go like this. The motors that go like this are going to have a lower cruising throttle percent. And the motors that go like this are going to have a higher, because at lower throttle positions, they're making less power, right? Vertical is more power. So if you're ever looking at motors, and you've got a motor that's on that there's a sweep for, you can see, like, oh, if you're thinking about this other motor, oh, I can see that it's more aggressive at, like, cruising throttle is usually 30 to 40%. So if you look in that 30% range, you can see where that motor is in terms of thrust production. The lower the thrust production, the higher the cruising throttle is going to be, down between 30 and 40%. You've got the motor limiting turned on, which allows you to control that. It allows you to control the total swing, and that will basically what you've done. If no motor limiting is like this, you've kind of done that, and that's why your cruising throttle is higher in the throttle percentage, because you've taken that whole thing and done this and flattened it out a little bit. So yeah, move your throttle limiting up, and that should help quite a bit. I might need to bail on this one camera here, But the problem is this other camera doesn't love focusing far away, but all of a sudden now it is. We might lose this camera, this little handheld camera that I use sometimes that kind of sits here. I might need to put this camera up here as the bench cam because this one is just shitting the bed. And I also don't love, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 now. I've moved it. 4 video sources going into OBS. And the computer really, that's a lot, man. The computer has to work really hard to manage all that. So I would love to remove one of those sources. I think this is also has something to do with why the VRX keeps disconnecting. Look at this, yo. NewBeeDrone is making a 2-inch propeller frame. That's what I couldn't show you in the box the other day. And yeah, it's exactly this. Not exactly. It's very, very similar to their line of Cockroach frames at the moment. Just put in a photocopy machine and blown up for a 2-inch propeller. It does have like an extra support here, right? Usually we just have the outer support and the inner support, and that's it. This one has an extra support here, and there's even a little smacky doodle right here. It comes with a carbon fiber brace, which on a frame this big, you might actually want to use. You know, a frame like this, you're going to be, so it is drilled for 3-hole motors. That's an important thing to remember. A frame this big, you're going to be using a 1.5-inch millimeter motor shaft motor regardless. So the carbon fiber brace should be just fine. It shouldn't kill durability that much. Comes with screws because the carbon fiber brace is going to be thicker. And then there's the brace. It just slots right in on the bottom. And yeah, there you go. So yeah, this might be the most durable of the 2-inch frames. You never know. Apparently the new HDLRC 85mm frame is very durable, which is amazing. I've not seen that for sale anywhere yet. This is going to be for sale either now or very soon. And yeah, it's the more bendy plastic. So my complaint about the Cockroach 75, the original NewBeeDrone frame with this design that we're becoming more and more familiar with, it was made of a more brittle plastic, and it used to break right in here. The Cockroach 65 V3 and now this one has this little area beefed up a little bit, and they've gone to a much softer plastic, which should make that situation an awful lot better. Won't know until I try it. I don't really know what I will try this on, because I haven't been doing the 2-inch propeller Cinewhoop thing. I don't really believe in it per se. But yeah, and then so there's nowhere to really put the battery. You could technically try to slide it in here, which is what you did on the Cockroach 75. But instead, they give you a nice little 3D printed piece. But no screws for it. Wait, are these what the screws are for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hopefully this is a pre-release version. Wait, no, there's another baggie in there. Hey, there's another baggie with screws. So they give you 4 screws in a separate bag. Those 4 screws go 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And then on the carbon fiber brace, there are, see little holes there? See little tiny holes in the carbon fiber? There, you can see them. So yeah, this guy screws to those holes in the carbon fiber brace, and then these little guys just poop up like that, and then you put your battery right through there. And there you go. I don't know what size battery this is sized for. My guess is going to be maybe like 2S450. I'm sure that it says on their website. NewBeeDrone, do you have this up yet? Let's search for 82. Yeah, it's 82 motor to motor, which is kind of interesting. Frames. Maybe it's not on their website quite yet. Yeah, I guess it's not on their website quite yet. It'll be there very soon, though. Kelvin said that I can show it and that it's coming. Best selling, no. Date, new to old. Here we go. Nope, yeah, okay. So it's not up there quite yet, but it'll be here soon. And then we'll get to see what batteries it's sized for, which will be cool. Yeah, I don't know. The 85mm thing, as a Cinewhoop, with a camera in the center, you get tons of duct in view. The 85 thing is more for like a tiny lifter, I think. Although with the tiny lifters, I get ducts in view when I kind of go slow. So I don't know if I'm going to switch the tiny lifters over to this. This would be like a high-speed tiny lifter where you're putting the nose down and really cruising fast. You wouldn't necessarily be able to go very slow with it before the ducts would show up. On the tiny lifter, the Insta360 Go is centered, and it's like right up here, which is the problem. If I pushed it forward a little bit, it would do a lot better. But the problem is the farther forward you push it, the more you overload the front motors. So it's a slippery slope to do that. And I have not had good luck doing it. So I'll probably leave the tiny lifters alone. I don't really fly them all that much anyway, which is stupid. I should fly them more because for what they are, they're awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out a use for this. I just don't know quite yet. It's pretty cool that it's 82 instead of 85. It'll be a little bit more durable, a little bit lighter. Is there a weight on it? No weight on it. Well, it's kind of... I would have to weigh it with the... Right, let me try to get a weight. So, you can't really run this frame without the TPU or without the screws holding the TPU on. So, giving you a weight of this doesn't accomplish anything. Although, just so you know, it's 8.5 grams. That you'd have no way of holding a battery there, though. So you got to have this TPU on it, which is going to bring it to 9.4, and then you're going to use these screws to hold that TPU in, and that brings you to 10.45. The plastic baggie is in there. Call it 10.4. Fuck it. Call it 10.5 grams. 10.5 grams all up, it looks like, is basically what this frame weighs. So yeah, there you go. If you're into the 2-inch whoop scene, this might be your go-to frame. There's only 3 other frames, so you might as well get this one, and you'll have the whole collection. If you do that, let me know how it goes. Let me know how you like this frame compared to the other 85mm options. Thank you, NewBeeDrone. Very cool of you. Throw that back in there. Something cool is coming with this little setup here. I'm not gonna spoil it because I'm a self-important douche and I like to pretend as if people care if I spoil things. Nobody cares. Spoil it. Nobody gives a shit. Stop not... I don't know if I want to show you guys yet. Oh, I should. I'm going to make you wait to show you. I'm going to make you wait till the end to show you. I saw one of the guys from fucking Hoonigan doing this the other day. Like, are you kidding me? What are you, 8? What is wrong with you? I don't want to show you yet. I'm going to make you wait. I'm going to light you on fire. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with everyone? What is going on? My God, man. Why is everybody such a self-important douche? Myself included. God, nobody cares. Is that early enough for you? On Rant Street? Yeah, there's something really, really cool coming. This is my like little kind of proof of concept. But yeah, something quite fantastic is coming for these little chasing rigs. This is going to save a ton of weight. It's going to be way more efficient. This is going to be... I'm super excited about this. And maybe I asked Kelvin I told you guys this on the last stream, but super quick in case you weren't here. I asked Kelvin, so that underslung. Here, let me just show you. They already have something. NewBeeDrone already has something. If you go to their website, search for walk snail, it'll probably come up. Oh shit, do they not have it? Maybe they have a walk snail 65mm rig. Where the hell is it? Oh man, somebody linked me to it. Oh, fart. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. So somebody, there's a link to it somewhere. Basically, they've got a similar thing. They've got a little TPU loop jib jab that goes around the battery bay, the center part of the battery bay here, and it'll let you hang the battery off the bottom. It'll let you hang the battery like this. Get out of here. Hang the battery down like that. And what that does is that lets you use the bottom set of posts in here. All right. And so what that's going to let me do is put the walk snail VTX on top, nice and flat. And then the AIO on the bottom, on the inside in here. It'll be super flat. And then this super cool little front camera mount that we're using the Immortal T hooks for can sit like that, and we'll just have like the coolest low profile glip glop in all of the jib jabs. Not going to be for freestyle at all because the lens is going to be all the way forward. But who cares, man? We need cinematic. Look, if you're going to build a tiny little rig with walk snail, guess what? You've built a little tiny Cinewhoop. Get the ducts out of view and fly it like a Cinewhoop. You're going to love it. You're going to be able to fly like a millimeter off the ground, and it looks so cool. Take it to a mall, rail around. You're going to love my nuts. What do you think of that? Demo FPV says, what's up, everyone? AJ Farah, thank you again for the $10 super chat. It's beautiful viewers like you that keep this show going. That's something they'd say on NPR, right? CMYK FPV says, what's up? Big Fran says, best in-stock motors for a 4S Grinderino. X-Nova 1804s. It depends on some other stuff, but probably X-Nova 1804s. Maybe the T-motor. Maybe the T-motors. I haven't run those, though. But yeah. This 4-pack. Oh, you son of a bitch, you. Oh, you dirty rat whores. There you go. T-motor pacer 1804 3400. You're only missing out on 100 kV. So yeah, there's the M5 version, which is super handy, and then I think they might make a T-mount version. Nah, they don't. But that's okay. Well, yeah, they do. There's a T-mount version. Look at what propellers you want to run. Personally, I would run the M5 version, and then I would actually run it on 3-inch propellers. I would run it on the T-Motor 3140s. This is like my favorite propeller ever. Super durable, good amount of pitch, breaks websites. It's just the best. There it is. Yeah, this propeller is awesome. 3.1 inch. So yeah, I would do it on this. This is going to be like the most durable prop that you're going to find, which is going to be awesome on the old Grinderino. But if there's like a 3.5-inch prop that's only T-mount that you want to run, then get the T-mount version of the motor. So yeah, either or. Can't go wrong either way. But yeah, that T-Motor 3140 is such a good propeller. So good. And like nobody knows about it. I've never seen anybody else using them. Mainly because most of the motors are T-mount. Freelojo with the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. Today's Friday, March 15th. Thanks for the reminder. Limit says, hey, CiottiFPV, what's on the program tonight? We went over that. Cold Front and Penguin says, is 1102 22,000 kV or 1103 11,000 kV motor better for a 2.5-inch quad? That is so there is no better. There's just different, right? First and foremost, but those two motors are so drastically different that's you can't compare motors that are double the kV, right? Like an 1102 22,000 kV, you're going to be able to run that on like 1S or 2S. An 1103 11,000 kV motor, you're looking at like 2S or 3S. So it's going to really depend on the build. And then like, 2.5-inch quad, I don't know what that means. Is that a 2.5-inch Cinewhoop? Is that a 2.5-inch toothpick? Is that a 2.5-inch freestyle, like school bus style frame rig? There's just so many different options. If you're looking to do, here's what I can say. If it's a lightweight 2.5-inch build, the 1102s will probably be enough. And then you would run them on like really lightweight bi-blades. If it's going to be a medium to heavyweight build, the 1103s would be better. And then you're going to be able to run it on 2 or 3-bladed propellers. But yeah, it's going to depend completely upon what the build is. Mick Mucus says, did you receive the drill bit delivery? Some of them. I don't know what's happening. I've got a Cinewhoop order that I placed on February 28th that hasn't arrived yet. And then I put this Amazon order in last week, and only part of it has arrived. So yeah, not all the drill bits are here, but a couple of them are, and none of the pin vices are here. So yeah, I've got 10 1.5 millimeter drill bits for your 1002s and your 802s, because those propellers don't really fit all that well either. And then I've got 0.99 drill bits as well. I've got 10 more of these guys coming, and I've got pin vices. What I really want to do is sell these pin vices. It's just a little chunk of metal that holds little tiny drill bits. Because the drill bits by themselves are a pain in the ass. You got to grip them in like pliers. It's just a nightmare. What I really want to do is put it together as a kit and sell a pin vise with a 0.99 millimeter drill bit and a 1.5 millimeter drill bit all at once. So I have just barely enough to do that with a number of those pin vices that I've got coming. So hold off. If you want the drill bits, give me another couple days. I don't know. I don't understand why this Amazon delivery is not here. It seems kind of insane, but welcome to the post-COVID world of shipping sucks. Brad Mondin says, I want a lower throttle percent, but I think if I open to 100%, 11,400 might be too much for the AIO or the motors. Just wonder what to look for, not to blow something up when working up to a higher KV. So here's the thing as well, Brad. Like 10-to-1 power to weight ratio is what we shoot for on 5-inch quads. As we get smaller, it goes 9-to-1, 8-to-1, 7-to-1. So what's kind of cool about the cruising throttle percent is that, like, if you buy motors that are too high of a KV and then you motor limit down, and instead of using like math and a number, you just like motor limit to like 80% and fly it and see how it feels. 70%, fly it, see how it feels. 90%, fly it, see how it feels. Whatever that motor limit percentage ends up at, for that rig to feel like your other rigs, your cruising throttle percentage is probably going to be pretty similar. Because again, we've got a static amount of throttle stick travel, and then if your rigs all feel the same, they have roughly the same power to weight ratio. So in this throttle throw, you've got roughly the same, like 10-to-1 or 9-to-1 or 8-to-1 power to weight ratio. And so it sort of just works itself out. Does that make sense? The specific motor is going to change that, like we talked about earlier. Some motors make more power down low than others. But yeah, my recommendation is always to set your your throttle limiting, your motor limiting up in a way that makes the rig feel that you want it to, or set it as low as you possibly can. The less power the rig has, the better the throttle resolution is going to be. So that's what I do. I try to limit rigs down as far as I can so that I get the most amount of throttle resolution. On the Cinewhoops, I haven't been doing that much because we're just experimenting with all different motors. But at some point, when I settle on a perfect formula for me, for a Cinewhoop, it will be on a motor that's slightly too high of a kV, and I will bring the motor limiting down as much as I can to get that extra throttle resolution. That's what I recommend. So do that and see if the cruising throttle percent is a little bit more in line with what you're sort of used to. Because I think what you've got going on is that it feels, and this happens when your cruising throttle percent is different than the rest of your builds. It just feels weird and it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. And I'm assuming that that's what's going on. So be a little bit less mathy with the throttle limiting, and just move it up and down by feel, and just get the rig to the point where it feels right, and then just kind of like leave it like it has the amount of power that it has, and away you go. That would be my recommendation, because like most of the time that you spend flying, you're at the cruising throttle, right? Like through the course of a battery, we probably spend 95% of the time at that cruising throttle. So that's really important. So try to get that to where you want it, and then the amount of power it has, it has. If you're desperate for more power, then you can open it up a little bit, but prioritize and set your motor limiting based on the regular feel. Like fly a battery and just think like, does this feel better or worse? Change it. Fly another battery. Does this feel better or worse? Just go by like the full length of the battery until you're happy with it. And then you have like your control and you have like your baseline. And then if you decide that at full throttle you've got too much or too little, you can then adjust it based on that. But the first way to adjust it, I think, should just be by feel and just see what feels right through the course of a battery. And then you can move it from there. Matty-O, great question, brother. Matty-O FPV says, what electronics would you recommend for a BQE little homie? I do not really do the toothpick thing anymore, and I especially don't do the it is a Kennedy toolbox. My dad got it for me ages ago, and my dad just knows what's what and gets good stuff. So yeah, he chose such a perfect toolbox, machinist toolbox, and it's perfect for like our stuff, for our little tools that we've got, and shit. It's just perfect. Yeah, I don't know, Matty-O. I apologize. I have heard that the Tune RC AIO is the way to go. So that's probably an easy bet for you. And yeah, with an AIO, that's it. You're done. It's got everything you need on it. ELRS versus Crossfire, that's whatever you're on. And then whatever video system you're on, right? Analog, walk snail, whatever. You're going to choose based on that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Steve-O says, does Fractal make a 2-inch frame? I bet that would be a sweet tiny lifter. I don't know. I've not had great luck with their frames, though, if I'm honest. But that's just me. Some people love their frames. Walter Van Den says, Cinewhoop or Free Flight? What's difference? I don't know what Free Flight is. Free Flight? Cinewhoop or Free Flight? Free Flight? Free Flight. Google doesn't know what Free Flight is either. What's Free Flight? Is that a different type of Cinewhoop? It looks Cinewhoop or Free Flight. What's the difference? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by Free Flight. Tag me again. Let me know. Free Ledger says 82 equals Fixty. Learned that from a comedian, or who his name? Fixty? What's Fixty? Why is everybody typing things I don't understand? Hockey Round says, will you never settle on a freestyle whoop? You will never settle on a freestyle whoop. That's what we love you. Why we love you. I kind of already have, if I'm really honest. The 32,000 kV motors seem to be it. This is the rig that I has the best mix of a little bit too much power, but not so much that it's just absurd. So like the 0702 32,000 kV motors, I would limit them down to the equivalent of like maybe 31 or 30,000 kV. And then I've got a little bit of leeway in the motors. And yeah, that's really it. The 36,000s, the 40,000s, they're hysterical, but they're really hard to fly. It's already hard to fly inside, and they're just like another level of difficulty. Very fun, but in terms of like flying good, I think 0702 32,000s are the way. But there's kind of no reason to do that. Like 36,000s actually make more sense, and then you just motor limit them down a little bit extra than the 32s. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much. There's so many different combinations of parts that, like, yeah, I feel like every single time I'm like, woo, all right, we've tested everything. Like a half a dozen more things come out. It's like, all right, here we go again. And I retest a lot of stuff, so it's this cycle that keeps going and going and going. AJ Farris says, is the Hall Effect gimbal worth installing on my Taranis X9D? Absolutely. Hall Effect gimbals are magic. They last forever, which is great, but they're just, on top of them lasting forever, there's no physical connection, so it's just always going to be smoother. And the more and more you fly, the more sensitive you get, and eventually there's a huge difference, if there isn't already, regular gimbals versus Hall Effect. So yeah, Hall Effect gimbals to me are a required like thing for a transmitter. That's one of like the things that you just have to do. There's a lot of stuff that you really don't have to do, but Hall Effect gimbals are something that they're a necessity. Walter says, what's the difference? Freestyle, toothpick, Cinewhoop. Are there more kinds? I gotcha, Walter. So Freestyle is just referencing like Freestyle is like a flight style, but we rope it in to quads that are designed to blast around in like parking lots, and just think like freestyle skating, like freestyle skateboarding, stuff like that. Yeah, freestyle is like a pretty open-ended, like you go out, you're doing some tricks, and you're showing a space. You're not like filming a thing. You're kind of filming the space that you're flying in, more than anything else. You're not chasing, right, a subject. You're not chasing a drift car. You're just out freeballing, right? Toothpick describes this is a toothpick. It's the name coined by Bob Ruge from FPV Cycle. It's a bigger Tiny Whoop with, you know, the similar kind of camera in the middle, AIO in the middle setup, and then skinny ass little arms, and typically bi-bladed propellers, but you can run tri-blades on these. But yeah, this is what a toothpick. This is the toothpick format. Typically, freestyle frames look more like this, but they don't have to. But yeah, this is more of like a freestyle build. The real, in my opinion, the real name for this is a school bus frame. It looks like a school bus, right? You've got like this central long area here. Yeah. So to me, this is a school bus frame, but some people would call this a freestyle quad, a 3-inch freestyle quad. And then Cinewhoops are specifically designed tools for filming. So they're specifically designed to pick up a camera, in most cases a GoPro. They've got prop guards on them so that they're safe to bump into people, because a lot of times when you're filming, there's people involved. But also the ducts slow this thing down. If you look at the frontal area, this is never going to be fast, right? It's got all this shit blocking the air, versus a freestyle quad right? These are both 3-inch rigs, by the way. These are both 3-inch. There's the frontal area of that. This is gonna cut through the wind like butter. This is gonna cut through the wind like a fucking school bus. So yeah, when comparing the frontal area, you can really see how fast a quad's gonna be. So yeah, the Cinewhoops are designed to fly nice and slow, very accurately through really small gaps, and they just give you that more like cinematic look rather than freestyle builds that give you a, oh my god, this guy just snorted a ton of cocaine look. That's pretty much it. And then we got like lifters, which are like really big builds designed to carry like medium format cameras, big brick cameras. Tiny whoops. You know what a tiny whoop is. That's about it. I'm sure I'm missing one or two. Bo Mubarak says, have you checked the Frsky TWIN X14? I've never even heard of that. What is that? It's a transmitter. I use a like 15-year-old transmitter. It's the Frsky QX7. It works perfect. I've really yet to see a transmitter that, other than them starting to incorporate ELRS, which is pretty cool. Other than that, I haven't seen anything on a transmitter that has interested me in a long time. Having ELRS built in, it would be nice, but I mean, the module thing is no big deal. TWIN X14. What I like about this is that it looks like it's the dimensions of a QX7, which is great. The QX7 fits my hands better than any other radio. Utilizing dual 2.4 frequencies. Why would they do that? Yeah, I don't know. It's cool looking. It's a cool color. I don't know. Regular old ELRS outranges all of the video systems, so I don't know why you would... Hey, Kelvin's in the house. What's up, homie? With a link to the new frame. There we go. Screw this transmitter. I don't know. I'm not a transmitter guy. To me, transmitters are about what fits your hands the best. So get with all of the local FPV pilots and hold all their transmitters. Put the if you're thumb or a pincher, whatever, go into the corners, make sure it's comfortable, make sure you can reach the corners without your fingers hitting the guards and stupid shit like that. And if you find a transmitter that you can hit the corners and it's comfy and nothing weird happens, buy that transmitter. It's going to have a module bay. God knows what's going to be the radio protocol in another couple of years. If there's a module bay, you can slap a module in and away you go. To me, that's a transmitter. You know, the old school Frsky QX7, if you have big hands, is probably the one that you want. It's like $100. There's not a color screen for you to display nothing in color on. It just works. You can get Hall sensor gimbals for it, and you're just done. It's good to go. There's no reason for us to have 40 different transmitters. It's absolutely insane. These companies are screwing you and stealing your money. Stop buying new transmitters. Find a transmitter that fits your hands and just use it. It'll have a module bay. You'll be fine. That's my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, it's just crazy. The transmitter thing is just absolutely insane. Would it be cool to have an ELRS based transmitter with like a simple antenna that just like sticks up? Yeah, sure. But having the module doesn't affect me in any way. Like, I take the transmitter out of my bag, I push the power button, and I use it. It's actually easier with the module in it because the antenna sits on the bottom than having to reach over and pick up an antenna. I don't know. The whole transmitter craze escapes me. Here it is, NewBeeDrone Cockroach 82. Let's see here. What do we got? 7.5 grams. 2 board loco. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. It's got the top and bottom posts as well. What was I trying to figure out before? There was something that I wanted to look up. I don't remember what it was. Carbon fiber base plate is 1 millimeter. Oh, here it is. 550 mAh2s. That's it. 550 mAh2s batteries is what that little piece of TPU is designed to use. Awesome. Kelvin, I shot you a message. Where's the somebody sent me a link, I think, to a walk snail acrobee that was in this frame. Here's what I'm working on, Kelvin. Here's what I'm working on. So for the chase rigs, to chase the little RC cars, but just for like a cinematic look, walk snail is so good. The walk snail light system is so good. We have these little tiny, like straight up Cinewhoops, 1080, 60. It's amazing. So here's my master plan. You can feel free to steal this and make your own. Please do. I just want people to be able to, I don't care whose name is on it. I just want people to have this. It's so cool. Camera up front like that. The front of this little guard thing is perfectly flat. Thank you. God, thank you. The walk snail camera, the little plug on it, it actually like, it locks in perfectly. It's so weird. It's like, I know you didn't do it on purpose, but it's as if you did. So yeah, the little Mippy camera plug, it like perfectly locks into the top of the frame, and then it actually gives enough space for the battery to come through here. So you can build this with everything top mounted, but what I would really also like to do, which I will build it top mounted. But what's also cool is I saw that walk snail build, I think, on your site, and there was a little piece of TPU coming off the bottom here. So if there's that, I can do this, and I can actually drop this camera down a little bit lower, even. Drop this camera down, hang the battery down here on the little TPU thing that it looked like just wraps around the battery tray, and then I can mount the AIO in the bottom posts, and then the walk snail VTX in the top posts, and it'll just be like the lowest profile, incredibly lightweight, very little obstructions to the thrust path. Little Cinewhoop. The only problem we have with these, with walk snail on them, is the runtime thing. And when I build these in the carbon fiber frames, the extra weight of the carbon fiber and the extra blockage of the thrust down here just kills efficiency. I can't get these past 2 minutes on the little 300 mAh batteries. It's maddening. So yeah, this little build, I'm sure, will go beyond 2 minutes. And it'll be lighter and more durable and more powerful. The carbon fiber frames are murder on motors. So yeah, I try to stay away from. For the Cockroach 82, any chance of downloadable files for that little battery TPU thing that's a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, that will allow different batteries, like 2S 550s, 2S maybe 650? Probably wouldn't need that. 2S 450 would be fine. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. Shout out to it's Timmons, I want to say. Is it Timmons? Yeah, Timmons FPV. I on the last live stream I said, like, man, I wish I could find somebody that knew CAD. And Timmons messaged me. He's like, yo, I know CAD. I was like, yo, and I sent him a bunch of files, and I showed him what I was working on, and I made like this little proof of concept piece of TPU here. I actually took, this was a mob light mount that I turned sideways, and then I just cut it all up so that it sits in the little hooks, the little Immortal T hooks. And then Timmons ran with it, yo. And he designed it. Here's the little PC thing, right? And then he designed it so that there's holes in this piece, and the holes will go directly into the little hooks. So it'll like into the little hooks, and it'll just hold the little camera. And then I asked him if he can do like a version of it that sits low and then a version of it that sits high. And he was like, I got you, bro. I'll just design it so that you can flip the damn thing upside down, and then one goes high and one goes low. Amazing. Eventually I'll bug him to design a version of it with up tilt. Right now it's zero up tilt. That's what I want for chasing the drift cars. I want no up tilt at all because I fly backwards a lot, so zeroing the up tilt out helps with that. Also, with zero up tilt, you can look down on them, and that's really cool. I'm gonna actually bug them at some point for a down tilt version, so I can fly up above these guys looking down at them. Because when you look down at them, you can actually see all this stuff that they're doing, right? Like when you drop down low, it looks really cool and cinematic. But I already have a guy that's hiring me to come out and fly an RC drifting competition in April at some point. So for that kind of thing, you know, like the judges and the people want to see that top-down view. That's what you can't see, right? Everybody is standing looking out at the cars. You can't see that top-down. It's why the National Cycling League and America Crit Cup keep bringing me out, because we've never seen cyclists from that nice top-down view. So yeah, it's magic for racing. That top-down view is magic for racing. So yeah, Kelvin says, I'll make the CiottiFPV version, and you need to put on your signature. Dude, done. That would be insane. And Kelvin says, yes, we will provide that. You rock. Kelvin says, Free Lojo. Kelvin does indeed. Very cool, dude. Very cool. Love it. Walter says, but you can fly without. You're a better flyer. Fly without. Fly without what? Fly without what? Jay-Z says, does a mode exist, or can one be developed on Betaflight to simulate the inertia of a 5-inch on a Cinewhoop? Nope. That is a physics issue. But you wouldn't necessarily want that. Well, nah, forget I said that. That doesn't make any sense. You can decide that on your... Now that I have the... All right, yeah, so I need to... Now I remember why I set the f-stop where I did. It's because I get all excited and I sit forward and then I go out of focus. When you run a... when you open the iris way up for a low f-stop for more out of focus blur, it makes the so if the camera's over here and the background is over here, right? To throw the background out of blur like this, your it's called focal plane becomes thinner. So like, for example, when I sit back with my shoulders on the chair, I'm laser sharp right now. But then when I get all excited and move forward, I go out of focus. The focal plane, so like it's like this. This is like the distance, right? So it goes out of focus. So I had the shutter cranked. I move around too much. This is gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna end up moving the f-stop back to 5.6. I'm about to do it right now, actually. I like this though. With the f-stop opened up, I can run these lights less, and I'm not like from these lights blasting. Jay-Z, here's the deal. You can't. So everybody flies a different weight 5-inch rig. I fly very lightweight builds, 600 to 610 grams all up. And that has a specific amount of inertia. If you're flying a 700 gram all-up rig or even an 800 gram all-up rig, that's going to have a whole different amount of inertia. So whatever you're flying, 5-inch or 3-inch or whatever, you can then tune your smaller rigs to have that as similar of a feel as possible. With your motor selection, your frame selection, basically your weight, however you set the weight up, it's going to mimic that. It's never going to match it, but that's good. If we were able to make a Cinewhoop sail and slide as much as a 5-inch rig, it would be unflyable inside the house. Actually, you can do that. You can do that by building yourself a little Babito or a little NewBeeDrone Mosquito. So if you build a little Cinewhoop-sized rig with no prop guards, it's going to slide all over the damn place just like a 5-inch rig. The problem is, we build these small rigs to fly inside, and if they're sliding all over the place inside, it's not gonna be much fun. You're just gonna bounce from wall to wall to wall to wall to wall to wall to wall. So the Cinewhoop format of having the vertical ducts to slow it down and prevent it from sliding will allow you to actually fly inside the house without crashing all the time. I was so excited about the Babito and the little Mosquito, and then I flew them outside, and I was kind of underwhelmed. Like they didn't have quite enough power for outside. And then I flew them inside, and it was just impossible. It was just constantly sliding around. It made me feel like the worst pilot in the world. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like the perfect use for those little guys, I think, is like garden rippers. Somebody called them a garden ripper. I was like, yeah, it's perfect. If you've got a garden with lots of like little gaps to shoot, although they can't be that little because it's going to slide around a lot. That's the perfect kind of thing for those little guys. I still lean towards like a 2.5-inch toothpick for that, but that's just me. So yeah, you can kind of dial that in on your side, but yeah, with a tiny whoop, like kind of the whole point is that you're flying it inside in a small location, and you're gonna get the best performance with really lightweight builds and the ducts. Also, the ducts are gonna keep you from ruining your walls and furniture and relationships in your life. So you probably want to do that anyway. But yeah, you can dial that in. And it's actually, I spend a lot of time dialing that in. Every single time I do a build that's in a different propeller size, I actually spend a whole bunch of time doing exactly what you're talking about doing. So like, I love that question. But yeah, like a 5-inch rig is 600 to 800 grams. That amount of weight, even though it's got a big propeller, 4 big propellers, and those big propellers are like 4 big parachutes, but still, the weight of that rig, that 600, 700, 800 grams, is going to haul. And like you come off the throttle and go inverted, and it's going to just carry and carry and carry and carry and carry. Nothing that you cannot get that from anything that doesn't, you just have to have the weight. The weight is what really does that. If you wanted to get like a 4-inch rig to throw exactly the same as like a 5-inch rig, the props are smaller, right? Because they're 4-inch, but it would still need to be like 500, 600 grams to have enough momentum. You'd be able to bring the weight down a little bit. But yeah, it would have to be really heavy. A tiny whoop, it's just not going to happen. Also, because tiny whoops aren't going to make the power, right? Like a 5-inch rig will get going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. A tiny whoop never will. We can't get that kind of speed out of a 1S battery. So yeah, but what you're trying to do is sound. And it's just, and the name of the game is taking a look at the propeller size and the all-up weight. The ratio of those two things is what makes a rig, I call it flight performance. That's what gives it like the way that specific build performs. And the easiest way to kind of dial that in and the only way is to just add weight and take weight away, because you've kind of decided on the propeller size. Sometimes, like, you know, ducted stuff, you can like remove the ducts and it'll slide more. But yeah, a lot of times in the house, you got to have the ducts, and you've kind of decided on a propeller size. So yeah, do it with the weight of the rig. All that being said, flying tiny whoops indoors is extremely difficult, and the one thing that you can do to make yourself better and have more fun is reduce the weight. So, in my opinion, build an overpowered, ultra lightweight tiny whoop, and that's just gonna... It's got its own kind of flight style, but there's not much you can do about that. When you're flying outside, the gaps that you shoot in between trees are 10 feet wide. And then you come in the house and you try to shoot a gap that's like 1 inch wide. You know, like you're trying... It doesn't scale. A 5-inch rig is this big, a tiny whoop is this big. The gap that the 5-inch rig goes through is the fucking size of this room. The gap that the tiny whoop goes through is this big. It does not scale properly. If it did scale, then like the fact that we flew the tiny whoop in through the doorway would be a miracle. Like a doorway is a smaller gap. Right? Think of trying to shoot a doorway with a 5-inch rig. That's a nightmare. You're not going to be able to do that over and over and over again, inverted, backwards, wall ride. It's just not going to happen. Great question, though, dude. I love where your head's at. Yeah. add weight, remove weight, and just pay attention to the flight. I'm sorry, I said flight performance. I meant to say flight characteristics. That the flight characteristics of the rig come from the size of the propeller, which is related to like the drag, versus the amount of power, not versus, with the amount of power with the weight. Those three things work together to give you the flight characteristics of the rig. And yeah, if you pay attention to that, you can get each and every one of your rig to have similar flight characteristics, as long as you're flying it in an area that matches the size of the rig. When you fly your 5-inch rig, you're going to be in a spot like football field sized. When you're flying your Cinewhoop, you're going to be inside the house. When you're flying your 3-inch rig, you're going to be like in your backyard or in front of your house, right? Like the size of the propeller, the size of the rig, the amount of power that the rig has should match with the location that you're flying it at. There's the full answer for you. AJ Farris says, if you had a transmitter with ELRS, you couldn't swap modules for different firmware, though. It's true. That's one of the reasons that the module thing is really, really nice. The easy fix for that would just be to update everything to the newest version of Betaflight, and then it's going to be on ELRS 3.0. But when you have a ton of rigs, keeping them all updated is a goddamn nightmare. You know, it's hours of time every couple of months. That's just it's a waste of time. The old versions of Betaflight back to 4.2 flies absolutely phenomenal. I've seen zero benefits 4.3, 4.4, and I'm not seeing anything in 4.5 that looks all that interesting either. Hat Trick says, I saw Joshua re-uploaded FlowState. I've already seen it, but decided to watch it a bit. Seeing you and it was nuts. You looked so young. What happened? I got divorced. Yeah, I got left, bro. Yeah, I have, a lot has happened since FlowState filmed. A lot has happened since then. Life was very hard around that time. I hadn't really started doing this full time yet. Yeah, life got really hard. Life was hard when that was filming, and then it got worse. And I did some dumb shit. Thankfully, I wasn't very good at. Thankfully, I survived. And yeah, my wife at the time left, and then things started getting a lot better. But yeah, I've done a lot of growing up since then. You know, back when FlowState was filmed, I had been living in an apartment. Basically, like, my path was with someone, no chance of or plans of children ever. Just kind of like apartment life, totally fine. Just super, super, super simple, like bare bones kind of life. And now I'm in this big, beautiful house with two kids that, you know, aren't mine per se, but like I take them being around me very serious and try to add to their lives and make their lives better. I'm with someone that's way more successful and is like brilliant and beautiful and just amazing. I have so much more of like a rich life. And it's been a hell of an adjustment. I've had to really like push myself to wake up, but also to like work harder, which is a good thing, right? Like working hard it's easy to see that as like a bad thing, but it's really a good thing. Generalized anxiety disorder mixed with major depressive episodes make that extremely difficult, and are a special kind of hell having those two things together, right? Like anxiety makes you care too much about everything. Depression makes you not care about anything. So you mix those two things together and woohoo! It is a fucking party. Not a party that you want to go to though, but it's a thing. And so, yeah, you know, I've moved a couple of times since then. That's like the most stressful thing you can do. Look, I've had some of the most stressful events in my life happen since FlowState filmed. But I've come out the other side of it happier than I've ever been. And just so goddamn lucky. Like yeah, I get to hang out with you guys all the time. I get to fly drones for a living. You know, I'm not driving around in a Porsche, like, you know, but like, who gives a shit, man? Like, if you've got a couple of awesome things in your life, just focus on that, yo. Like, how many people on Earth don't have that at all, right? Like, there's so much good, and what I've had to do, but it's been great that I've had to do this, is really just like look at whatever those really good things are and just stare at them and just like smile at them and just, yeah, like those are the things. Those are the things that I'm going to try to spend 99% of my time thinking about, focusing on, improving, enjoying, right? And then the other shit, you know, can occupy that 1%. But yeah, it's been a wild ride since FlowState. I had just started. Actually, no, I hadn't. I had not booked a single gig back then. I was building stuff, and I was building towards this, but yeah, I hadn't really dove in. It was a crazy time. That was a crazy time. Walter says, very nice. Thanks, very nice answer. Thank you. Brad Monda with a couple of up arrows. He says, is he not reading my PayPal comment for a reason? I figured he preferred PayPal. What? I don't feel like that's... Bo Mubarak says, I got that. I'm not sure what Brad was up arrowing towards. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, brother. Walter tagged me. He says, stop working like me. Do your thing you like. It will be a success. Sometimes, if you get really lucky. There is an awful lot of luck tied up in quitting your job and pursuing a passion. There's a lot of luck and there's a lot of patience. I don't know which is, I don't know if it's 50-50, 60-40, but yeah, it's a crazy thing to do. I do not recommend it. I really don't. It is way easier to find the job that you don't hate and work at it. And there are also a lot of benefits, right? Like them going in on health insurance for you. That's pretty rad. The stability, although what's interesting about the stability of like a job where you work for somebody else is like when you work for somebody else, they can just fire you at any given moment. Not really, but you know what I mean? When you work for yourself, it feels much less secure, but in actuality, you're working for yourself. You're not going to fire yourself. Well, I mean, you can, but you're probably not going to fire yourself. So you're building this skill that hopefully has value. And like, yeah, you could lose a gig, but you still have that skill, right? Like, unless the FAA says, all right, no more drones, period, right? And yeah, obviously there's something, but it's important for me to think about that side of it. So yeah, it's crazy to do it, but if you're stubborn enough, you might be able to make it happen. I like I said though, I don't recommend it, man. You got to live really lean for a long time. You got to be okay with making no money for a long time. You got to be okay having doors slammed in your face over and over and over again. But we're lucky to be able to even think about that and entertain doing something like that. We're a lucky group, yo. Metadertson says, I'm working on getting head tracker going on some of my quads. you know they make one for whoops now. It might be perfect for chasing all sorts of things. Oh God, what's his name? I'm the worst. The I can't think of his name. I'm the worst with names. The guy that's doing it, who's all over Instagram. Somebody's already typed his name into the chat, I'm sure. He gave me one last year. I weighed it. I forget what it weighs, but it's kind of heavy. I'm more interested in it now than I have been because of the RC drift car stuff. But the problem is just the weight. It's 5.7 grams, right? So it's like you kind of can't with these walk snail builds. I'm already at like less than 2 minutes runtime, so I can't add it to the walk snail builds, right? Because that'll bring me down to like a minute 30, a minute 20, and that's just 2 minutes is like barely enough. And then I can't add it, and then if I add it to analog, it's going to make the analog rigs fly like the walk snail rigs, and so then it's like, well, I don't know. So at some point, it's going to go on a 75 millimeter rig. The one main thing that has been stopping me is that it's a pain in the ass to get the head tracking set up through your transmitter, and then you'd have to run like an external little module in the goggles. He was showing me how to do it at Rampage, and I was like super intimidated by it. The HD0 goggles have head tracking built in. So the HD0 goggles make that situation a lot better and a lot more realistic, which is cool. So yeah, and now that I've figured out how to make, and we have motors available to us that make more power on these 75 millimeter rigs, it's a much more realistic thing. I would love to have a head tracking 75. Oh. Right? With walk snail. Yeah. It's going to be fat, though. Although, not that heavy. So yeah, eventually this will happen. Boy, is this is going to take a while, though. This is not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, I've kept this like right in front over there on my little Cinewhoop cube because I knew that there would be a point where I would go down this road. It doesn't really make sense for like the other thing is that like it doesn't really make the head tracking thing is obviously 100% cinematic, right? Like you cannot crash it. It is not durable. So pairing it with analog, it's like, what? No, we're not doing that. But yeah, with the 2-inch props, 2S 450, that's 900. It's the equivalent of a 1S 900 milliamp battery. Yes, it's going to be a bunch heavier because of the bigger frame, bigger motors. But yeah, there it is. Head tracking 85 walk snail, 1080, 60 frames lumbering around. Looking up, looking down. The other thing is when you put that head tracker in the center, it just looks right at the ducts. So, yeah. Need to figure out some kind of a mount that pushes that forward a little bit. Cole Powers says, also called depth of field, affected by aperture. Thank you, Cole Powers. I couldn't remember depth of field. It's been a while since I've shot stills. I mean, I was still barely shooting stills when I started FPV, but then, man, I stopped altogether. You know, and when I really stopped is when I put the DSLR here. When the DSLR became my main camera, I'll be goddamned if I'm going to unplug it, pull it off the stand, change all the settings, and go shoot stills with it. I did actually, in the end up buying another one, but yeah. I don't know. I burned photography out pretty hard. I really went all the way in. and it was all I did for, oh my God, so many years, 7, 8 years. It was, I would come home from work and I would just edit stills for like 6 hours, 7 hours straight. It was mega. Cold Front and Penguins. Wait, no, hold on. AJ Farris says it's the difference between throwing a cotton ball, throwing a rock. Yeah. Prop Junkie says, when you aren't chasing drift cars, what camera angle do you usually run your whoops? I just push the Runcam Nano 3 all the way down in the Mobula 6 mount. Like I just, as low as it'll go. It looks to be about 10 degrees, maybe 15, but it's low. Since we're in the house flying slow, we want low up tilt. Yeah, the lack of depth of field is pissing me off already. When I hold stuff up to the camera, it's just all out of focus. I totally forgot that I was watching somebody else's. I was watching something from somebody else, and oh, actually, it's this budget audiophile channel that I found on YouTube, and yeah, he had a really nice amount of bokeh, is what out of focus blur is called, and I was really digging it, and I was like, oh, why don't I do that? There we go. That's better. Yeah, and see now that since I didn't adjust the background lights, the background has come down in intensity. Needs more intensity. Okay, Cold Front and Penguin says, what's the beef with 75mm versus 65mm whoops, vice versa? 65mm whoops are just infinitely like the response time is razor quick, so they're very reactive. They feel very locked in. 75mm rigs are just more sloppy. They're more slow to accelerate. If you want that sloppier feel, you can do it in Betaflight. You can just add a bunch of stick smoothing. That'll give you as much sloppiness as you want. Like 65s, you can dial it in exactly where you want it. 75s are what they are. 75s are also a little too heavy for in the house stuff. They hit your belongings harder, and they also don't like corner as sharply, as accurately. Look, it's really hard to fly in the house. If you want your quad to help you, it's a 65. If you want it to work against you, but have a whole bunch of power so you can smash into your TV even harder and maybe even break it, 75 all day. And then when you go outside, 65s are still pretty good, but they get kicked around by the wind a little bit more. So the 75s, you could make a really strong argument that they perform better outside. You don't really even need to argue that. But yeah, inside the house, a high KV 65mm rig, and then you spend 5 minutes in Betaflight dialing it in the way that you want it to fly. It's just better, period. There's just no, like, you're not going to argue your way out of that. It's a lighter weight rig. It's been way more developed. We have way more motor options, prop options. Yeah, it's just a better platform. Walter says, not of our business. And then he just tagged me. Oh, no, okay, yeah, we talked about that. Hater says, even if FAA bans drones, there will always be places where it's needed. Kaboom. Yeah, and they can't ban inside the house flying, so tiny whoops for life. Volusia says, are you going to Rampage? I am indeed. They bring me out every year to set up and run Micro Mayhem, so I'll be there. Metadirtson says, if you need help with the actual head tracker setup, I've gotten through that part. You can use a wireless link. That's pretty cool. Brad Monden says, I sent you some money towards a new mouse. LOL. Thank you, dude. I actually just added it to my Amazon shopping cart. Hold on. Brad Monden with a $5 super, not super chat, PayPal rather. Thank you so much, Brad, for supporting the madness. I will 100% use that for a mouse that does not shit its pants every time I do something silly. Donnie24FPV, welcome to the Gangly Gang, man. Thank you for joining the Patreon. Very cool of you. I really appreciate that, brother. And then Mick Mucus. Oh, cool. McStinky 0.99 drill. Awesome. You got it, brother. Let me mark this as unread so I don't miss it. All right, cool. There we go. Ramdanko says, do you have the head tracking thing for the craft? I do. I showed it a minute ago. Nate Adams says, have you flown 40mm GemFan quad blades on the Flywoo 1002s? I have. Loving them on my 75mm outdoor ripper. Yeah, I've experimented with quad blades on all the different ones. I don't like them at all. They're so heavy, the response time just goes to hell, and then you lose like the ability to handle prop wash really quickly and accurately. They're quiet, I'll give them that, and in some cases they feel like they make a little bit more thrust, but they make the whole rig heavier. And then just when the motor spins up and down, there's just extra delay that drives me mad. And then they don't seem like they're all that efficient. I don't know. Look, Flywoo 1002 motors are big motors. They're probably big enough to almost control those props. And if for whatever reason, any of you put a propeller on and you love it, that's it. The fact that I don't love it or everybody else doesn't love it does not matter. Every single person's brain is wired specifically, and your experience in FPV is in a place where, like, if you put a part on and it connects with your brain better, good to go. That is specifically why we custom build, right? If otherwise, just buy a bind and fly. Don't change anything. Nate Adams says the thrust is why I think it feels so good for building dives. Yeah, whatever it is, man, just go with it. All right, I'm caught up on chat finally. Let's start fixing stuff. The easiest thing to fix is going to be this walk snail rig because 2 of the motors are spinning the wrong direction. So we can fix it and fly it, and then we will have done something that I said that I was going to do in the title of the live stream, and that will make me feel better about myself and about life in general. What do you think of that? But I need to get this walk snail cable fished back here real quick to the Elgato. All right, good to go. This is me plugging in a 6th video source to OBS. Yeah, there's a lot of OBS around here. All right, USB plugged in. Put these goggles down here. We're gonna grab USB and here we go. Plugging in. I don't know if you guys have really seen me fly this. Where are the batteries? Here are the batteries. Okay. Let's fix a tiny whoop. The sound of our people. Firing up BetaFlight. And away we go. Come on, BetaFlight, you can do it. Exist, BetaFlight, exist. Come on. Let's go. Go! Scotty Scott says, my Mavia 6 keeps spitting the prop off motor number 1. Anything I can do to help it? There is indeed. Get your least favorite set of sharp-ass tweezers, or just anything somewhat strong and sharp. And what you're going to do, I'm going to unplug this battery. What you're going to do, if this is the hole of the propeller that the motor shaft goes through, you're going to take your sharp thing, you're going to go inside there and rotate it around. What you're trying to do is, if this is the plastic on the inside of there, you're trying to scrape it really hard so that the plastic lifts up, right? Like if you dig down into it, if the plastic is like this, and you dig down into it, the sides will raise up. Better like this. You already know what I'm saying. But yeah, if you dig down into the plastic, the sides will raise up, and these sides will dig into the motor shaft. And so that's how you do it. It's going to screw up the tips of your sharp-tipped tweezers. So use your least favorite ones. But go in there on the top of the propeller, rotate it around, flip it over, go in the bottom, rotate it around. You're going to push. You're going to really push in there. And that'll score the plastic, raise 2 edges, and then you'll have 4 edges that grip the motor shaft. You can also put a little bit of crazy glue on a pin head, wipe it around in there, and let it dry. And then when you put the propeller on, it'll have more grip. The problem is every time you put the propeller off and on, it pushes that crazy glue out of there. You take that prop on and off a couple times, it pushes it all out. You have to do it all over again. The little sharp-tipped tweezer trick is like, it kind of works forever. And if it ever doesn't, you just do it again real quick. You're not screwing around with super glue. Walter says, all kinds of names, get some experience and build your style. Yeah, man, we custom build. So custom build, bros. Okay, beta flight is up. Plug the quad in, connect, motors, motor direction. I understand the risks. The props are definitely off. Start and spin. Oh God, this motor won't spin. Why is it not spinning? The duct is, what's it rubbing on? What the hell? Hold on. What are you rubbing on, little fella? Why is it rubbing on that? The fuck? This is weird. This was a working rig. Let's try it again. Hey, there we go. Motor 1, I think motors 1 and 2 are fine. Motor 1 is fine. Motor 2 is fine. Motor 3 is wrong. Motor 4 is wrong. Click 3, click 4. This is one of those ones where, for some reason, that does not work. So we need to go into ESC configurator and reverse it in here. Connect. Read settings. I think it's this specific version of Betaflight. Reverse to normal, right settings, and we're good. Cool. Just to double check, we're going to go back into Betaflight. It's this 4.4.2, I think, where the motor direction thing doesn't work right. But we should be good to go. Motor number 1 is correct. 2 is correct. 3 is correct. 4 is correct. All set. You know what happened? I probably went in there and I quickly changed the motor direction and forgot to check it. I just saw which ones are spinning the wrong direction, just hit it and didn't double check them. That is why I usually double check. But I didn't this time and it bit me in the ass. Here we go. Walk snail. Little RC drift car chase rig coming at you. This prop needs to like self-clearance itself. It's being a little bit of a jerk. This is an old battery. We're probably not going to get great runtime, but that's okay. Got lots more rigs to build and only 20 minutes to do it. Not build, repair rather. Good. Walks now should be coming up any second now. There it is. All right. This is what I use to chase the little RC drift cars, my friends. Ah, yes. Oh. There we go. What do I have this set to? 16 by 9? Settings. Camera. Why is it on 4 by 3? Get your cinematic on, yo. What are you doing? 4 by 3. All right, here we go. I think I have the wrong... Look at that VTX getting hot. I think I have the wrong module in. Maybe not. Oh, no, I do. Good. Good. So, I put higher kV motors on this. This now has 36,000 kV motors. All right, so let's talk about yaw P gain. If you put a vertical object right in front of yourself and do throttle jams, see where it says VTX overheating? I'm going to put that right on this vertical part of the fireplace here. Actually, no, I'm going to do it with the RSSI. See the RSSI signal? Ready? Watch it yaw off axis. See it? See when I hammer the throttle? It yaws right then left. That is a lack of yaw P gain. So we're going to actually tune that out. this is... Fuck you! This is not a rig that I really hammer the throttle much, because it's a chasing rig, but no reason not to just fix it. This is a rig that I fly really low and relatively slow. Woo, shit. Battery be done. That was not a fully charged battery, for the record. Let's, let me show you how to fix that. I'm going to do it in Betaflight. I got to change the battery out anyway. So I'm going to do it in Betaflight, and then I'm going to put another battery through it, and I'm going to show you, hopefully, that that has improved. Basically, you just need to add more P-gain on yaw. But the sliders are not going to let you do that. I'll show you how you can fight it, though. Connect. And we're going to go into PID tuning. And so there's nothing in these sliders that allows you to add additional yaw, right? There's damping D-gains, which changes everything. Tracking changes everything. Stick response changes feed forward only. We don't want feed forward. We want yaw P-gain. Drift wobble, which controls the I-gain. And then these two pitch sliders, which control the pitch-specific stuff. Nothing that only changes yaw P-gain. So what we've got to do is change our mode. The default mode has roll pitch yaw, RPY. So if we look at the yaw numbers, 70 and 100, and we go to roll pitch, we now can change the yaw numbers by themselves. I'm going to go from 70 all the way up to 100, and for the I gain, I'm going to go up to 120. This is just me taking a couple guesses, but I've done this a lot, so that's probably going to be about right. We've already got a pretty aggressive PID tune here, right? Like, normally what I would do is try to just add more P and I gain to everything, but we've already got the damping slider up at 1.8 and the tracking at 1.6. It might not let me go any farther. It did kind of sound like it was overactive already, so I don't want to change these. Let's see how this is. I'm going to pull the feed forward down a little bit. I just want a little bit more smoothness out of this. And so let's see if that's a little bit better. What the hell was that? Hopefully that was the dog smashing into the ground, not a human. Come on. All right, here we go. Battery number 2. Let's see if that yaw going off axis. If you're seeing that happening, blame your thumbs first. The first thing that you want to blame is you for when you're quickly moving the throttle up and down, accidentally pulling or pushing into yaw. Make absolutely sure that you're pushing the throttle stick perfectly up and down when you're going to troubleshoot something like that. Like I said, usually it's a U problem, not a quad problem. Oh boy. So it is overactive with these motors. That's a bit much. So we're gonna fix that real quick. Walk still lets you get into the full menu, which is awesome. Since these are higher kV motors, I don't need quite so much PI and D gain. Save and exit. So I can probably get the same performance I had before. Yep. And now it's not overactive. So let's see if the yaw performance is any better. I'm going to put the vertical white line of the chimney up on that RSSI. All right, ready? Hold on. It's still doing it a little bit, but it's doing it a little bit less. See it? I did just change the rest of the gains. I could continue to push that yaw P gain up, and I probably will. I'll probably move it up to like 140. On the yaw axis, you can be incredibly aggressive with the P gain because the yaw is not controlled by one of the other axes. But yeah. Oh no! So I get barely 2 minutes with this setup, chasing the drift cars, where That's not going well. Where I'm very low throttle the whole time. I'm assuming it's going to come back. There it is. Flying at freestyle like this, I'm getting a lot less. This is really... When I tell you that the carbon fiber frames are a lot less efficient and make a lot less power, here you go. This is your case in point for that. Minute and 34, and that battery's pretty low. Motors are nice and cool, although motor heat is really not a good way of tuning tiny whoops. The motors just don't seem to hold temperature in them for whatever reason. But yeah, there you go. This rig is now good to go. We pulled a little bit of PID tune out for the higher kV motors. At some point I might add a little bit of motor limiting in to just bring a little bit of the power out of the motors. The other thing that's been happening on these builds with this carbon frame is the screw holes are stripping out. We screw these screws directly into the carbon, and after a while, it just strips the carbon out. So yeah, I don't know of a solution. I run bigger screws to one of the reasons is to try to help with that. It also makes mounting the stack easier and finding the bigger hardware is easier. But yeah, I'm starting to have these screw holes strip out, which is really frustrating. But hopefully this setup is ready to go sooner than later, and I can move away from these, and that'll be really, really, really nice. So drift car chasing rig is back in business, which is good because there's a competition on Sunday at noon that I might head over to. Well, while I have it here, there's a... this battery's done. There's a 75mm rig that I can fly. So here, we'll do a little head-to-head. 65 versus 75 in the house. This is not the best head-to-head. This is a Freestyle 75. For the size, it is lighter. But hey, I have a battery charged. Let's do it. And I think this rig is flying fine, but we'll test it. Here we go. FLowstate Quad sells the thick NewBeeDrone foam for these goggles, and they also sell RC and Power 1002 22,000s, which I've heard make more power than the Flywoo 23,500s. So I'm going to do an order at some point here for both of those things. I need that goggle foam. These lenses touch my forehead. When I put these goggles up on my forehead, which is my favorite place to put goggles at rest. And then, so like every time I put these goggles on, the lenses are horribly smudged. 75mm rig, 0802, 33,000 kV motors on bi-blades. Here we go. Come on. There it is. 450 mAh battery. So, look, here's the big difference for me between 65 and 75, and the reason I really prefer 65. There is an incredible amount of delay, not delay, but like look at like the beginning and the end of these moves. It's so soft on these 75s. You can get that softness on a 65 by just adding stick smoothing with RC smoothing or taking feed forward out. Matter of fact, let me add a bunch of feed forward into this rig. I already have a way more than I normally run. But let's push a shitload of feed forward into this to see if I can get it a little bit more like a 65. That's better. See how much more reactive that is? That's a lot better. Forget about feed forward sometimes. Well, cool. I kind of can't wait to fly this at a jungle gym again. This is the Walk Snail Jungle Gym Basher. Oh boy. It's I mean that's nice and all, but man, it just, these 75 mil rigs just feel so heavy. There you go. There's 65 versus 75. Two pretty different rigs. That battery's been charged for a few days, so don't judge me by that short runtime. This should run a little bit longer than that. I also need to test. I need to do a little bit of testing to see if 33,000 is too much kV. Easiest way to do that for me is to charge up a whole bunch of batteries. I'm going to go out. I'm going to fly the exact same spot back to back to back to back to back. And I'm just going to throttle limit the batteries down at some point. If I get significantly longer runtime with the batteries motor limited down, that means that the extra kV, that basically means that 33,000 is too high of a kV. And that when you have too high of a kV, the propeller will barely spin any faster, but it'll just draw amps. Like the motor runs out of stator volume to keep driving the propeller faster, but you're forcing the energy into it. So you're forcing the energy into it, and it just turns it into heat. It doesn't turn it into much extra work. So I still need to do that with this, but that's two rigs that are working. It's kind of nice. Wait, no, this one, no, working rigs go over here. This guy, this is the analog drift car chasing rig. This is the one I'm most excited to get into the frame with the front mounted camera, because this is going to save the most amount of weight percentage wise. This just refused to bind. And I think maybe I put the new flight controller on here and then like just didn't set it up or something. So let's take a quick look in Betaflight at this to see if the receiver protocol is not set up properly. And it is, wait, no. No, that's good. Okay, hold on. Let's turn the transmitter on, see what's going on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
So this has the 3.0 module. I could have sworn that I bound this thing. It's on Betaflight 4.3.1. Can I hit the bind receiver button? Will that work? No. I think it might. Hold on. Let's go to the module here. Bind mode. Press to send bind request. Binding. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, let's power cycle it. Although I think usually it just pops right back up. I'm not confident that that bind button in there works. But let's just take a quick look here. Receiver. Nah, we got nothing. It might be 2.5. It's on 4.3.1. Let's try the 2.5 module. Okay. And we are going to hit bind receiver. Packet rate, bind mode, press to send bind request, binding. Hey! What the hell, man? I did this at the fucking place yesterday and it wouldn't work. Oh, okay. Oh, the channel map is wrong. Oh, it was bound, but the channel map was wrong, so it wasn't reading 0 throttle. Aha. This is doing something weird. It's like loot. See that? The hell's that about? Hold on, let's save it. Oh, is it because I'm holding it too close? No. Why does it keep dropping out like that? See that? What the hell's that about? Bueller? What? I've never seen that before. Aux 12 is RSSI. That's kind of fun. I haven't turned the RSSI channel aux on in a long time. I don't think it uses that. On, off, throttle, yaw, roll, pitch. All right, we're good. Oh, yeah, I did not... This thing is not set up. I did not do anything. That's weird. I guess I just swapped the AIO over and didn't do anything else. That's kind of weird. I don't think I need to set this RSSI channel on. I don't think it does anything. I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything. This is really weird behavior here. I don't love this. Wait, no. This is acting funny. It does have the ceramic antenna on it. Weird. Sleepy CBR has got some NewBeeDrone foam coming for his Dominators. Nice. Save this. I'm going to go into... Did I not set anything up here? No, I didn't set anything up here. Okay. So that's what's going on. So this thing needs a full setup. I must have switched it over and then I just didn't do anything else, which is kind of silly. All right, so let's hit a couple things here. Okay. Come on back, little buddy. All right, ports are probably fine. Configuration is now good to go. Power and battery looks pretty good. Fail safe, I just like to move that guard time up a little bit. Just a little bit. Presets, we are going to use an ELRS preset. What do I run it? 250, right? Yeah, 250. Express LRS 250. And we're going to go... what's this rig? This is the chase rig. We're going to go cinematic. Shit. Is this SPI? I think it's SPI. And then... Cool. Pick. Save and reboot. That's going to put some of the stick smoothing in that I really like. The cinematic preset does that. And PID tuning. Oh yeah, this thing doesn't even have a tune on it. Oh, the mode is off. That's weird. I'm going to take a guess on the tune. We'll go up to 1.4, 1.2. Turn the feed forward down a little bit. A little bit of extra D-max. Leave these guys alone. A little bit of extra pitch damping. And that's about it. Jitter reduction is up at 12 where I like it. iTerm relax, move this down to 10. This is all looking fine. This is looking fine. Save it. Drop my rates in. Why is it on rate profile 2? All right. There we go. Throttle mid, I'm going to take a guess at 0.35. Throttle mount, 0.4. Again, best guesses. I'll need to dial those in. Move the gyro filter multiplier slider all the way up, D-term to 1.2. This is stuff that doesn't always work, but it sometimes sometimes works. Move this up to 900. It usually works, is what I'll say. Move that Q factor up a little bit. All right, subtle stuff. It's not worth really diving too deeply into that. Change this to auto. Change this to auto. Move that down to 100. That's a bit much up at 250. It's really weird how it keeps dropping out. I don't love that. Arm on aux 1, angle on aux 2 all the way up. Great. Beeper, we're going to put that on aux 3 all the way down. I can also just do a diff from the other AIO that was on here. But I digress. Flip over after crash, we're going to put in the middle. For funsies, we'll put launch control on aux 2. Okay. Motors! Bidirectional D-shot is turned on. D-shot 300, great. Motor direction is reversed. Awesome. Go back into PID tuning, and we're going to turn on the dynamic idle value. Put it up at 30. That's a good round number. See if this thing flies. Should be flyable after this. I'm not going to dive into the OSD. Well, I might as well plug the other one in. Let's see what the motors do. Motor direction, I understand the risks. Wizard, start and spin. Motor 1, correct. Motor 2, incorrect. Click it, reverse it. Oh, the motors are in the wrong spots. Stop motors, close, reorder motors. Here we go, start. That is left front. Well, I haven't had to do this in forever. Left rear, right front, right rear. Save. Cool. Wow. The Happy Model makes this board in a way that they put this board sideways into something. I think it's the mob lights, and then yeah. So when they come, the motors are in a weird way. Motor 1 is now spinning inwards. Perfect. Now motor 1's in the right spot now. Motor 2 is wrong. Watch, they're all going to be wrong. Motor 3 is right, which means motor 4 is going to be right. Yeah, look at that. Weird. And now we double check. Always double check. Motor 1 is right. 2 is right. 3 is right. 4 is right. And they feel like they're all making thrusts. Cool. OSD is going to be tragic. Oh, it's tragic indeed. Race 8, low power disarm on. Power 25 million watts. Perfect. CLI, we're going to type get PID sum. We're going to crank the PID sum up, even though it's probably not going to do anything, but nice to have it. Set PID sum equals 1,000. And then let's get PID sum on yaw. Set PID sum yaw 1,000. Okay. Save that. I think I'm going to turn crash recovery on this. So to do that, we're going to type get crash. Why does it keep power cycling? Well, it doesn't need a battery hooked up to it. Is the battery maybe dead? Sorry, I'm kind of ignoring chat. No, the battery's not dead. That was weird that it was cycling off and on. Crash recovery equals off. So we're going to highlight that, and we're going to type set crash recovery equals on. I'm going to leave... No. G threshold, D threshold. I think it's the crash D threshold that I have to turn up. Set. What the hell just happened? That was weird. Set. What? What are you doing? Try this again. Set. There we go. D threshold to 80. The stock value is 50. We're going to move it up to 80. I'm going to do the G threshold as well. From 400 up to 600. This is just going to prevent crash recovery from turning on when I don't want it to. G threshold 600. And then there's one more. There's one more in here. Motor percent. Expo, no. D threshold, G threshold. D as in D gain. G as in G force. And then I guess it's this set point threshold. All right. Set, paste, 350. We'll move it up to 500. It shows you the allowable ranges. So just look at the allowable ranges and push those three values up a little tiny bit. think that might help. That might help when I bump into the ground. It might actually make it a lot worse. Let's see if the damn thing flies. I don't even know if it's gonna fly. Let's see. Come on, get in there. It is 9:07. Go get you some Bach Grinder, my friends. I am in his time slot now. In a minute, we're gonna stop, and you guys can go. Everybody can go get them some bot. But for right now, let's see if this damn thing will fly. Turning on these gigantic HD0 goggles. Unplugging and replugging the little VRX. There we go. Should have video in a second. Hey, look at that. Like I said, the OSD is going to be tragic, but just try to ignore it. Will it arm? It arms! And it flies! Holy hand grenades! So I put way higher KV motors. I went from like 28,000 to 32,000. Again, this is a chase rig. It's meant to go like pretty much this speed. And I can already tell that I made a bad guess on the throttle. See how I'm bouncing up and down? I'm not trying to bounce up and down. I'm trying to maintain the same elevation, but my my throttle expo is jacked up. Watch this. Come in here, profile, rate, go upwards, which goes down a page. Expo amount is at 40, but the midpoint is at 35. Let's go down to 32, and this will be way better. Come on. See that? Off on the right there is my throttle percent. Well, now that I changed the value. Oh God! Now that I changed the value, I'm actually cruising at a slightly higher throttle, but this is what this thing is meant to do right here, man. Low to the ground and slow to the ground. Oh, I can't believe we just went through there. I wonder if I can shoot that gap under the wire. Ah! Look at that sense of speed. Yeah! This is what having the camera up front does. It lowers the camera to the ground. And so it makes it so that you can just kind of like tell. Oh, hey, by the way, the my HD0 goggles yesterday flashed white a whole bunch of times. I don't know who was mentioning that. I think somebody mentioned flashing black. No, mine are flashing white. I think it only did it like 4 times, and like I don't know, it didn't. It was whatever. I didn't love it, but I also didn't. It wasn't like the end of the world. But yeah, there's some weirdness there. Ah! And now I'm stuck on the cable. And as we know, tiny whoops can't possibly handle a cable being on top of them. Let's run this battery the rest of the way down. Oh boy! See, so I actually turned in too much. I'm getting used to the heavy walk snail rigs. And I'm turning in extra and earlier. Oh boy. Oh boy. Get out of here. Yikes. Ah! I can't believe I caught the edge of that. Oh, it's acting weird at full throttle. I need to get this into ESC configurator. It's not happy at full throttle. Whoa! Okay. That's where I would have wanted crash recovery to help me. Whoa, God, I ran that battery down too low. Way too low. That might be a swift end to this battery here. What's it at? 0 volts. Great. Sorry, little fella. You are now on fire. 3.0 volts. Oof. Oof. I say oof. All right, yo. Off Axis says no bot grinder night by the looks of it. Oh, that's right. He's that's right. He's at the Weebly event in New York. Man, I really wanted to go. It just did not work out for me. Cool. This thing flies great. Having the camera up really low like that is just absolute magic. There's nothing about this build that flies any better than the other rigs. It's just that camera location is the tits. Last thing I'll do is bring this into ESC Configurator and show you how to fix a lot of Bluejay issues. So let's go here and get one more battery going just so that we can get it on in there. We're going to put this on to 0.16 and then that issue is going to go away that we were just having. We're going to go to escconfigurator.com. We're going to connect. Battery is hooked up. We're going to read settings. And we're going to take a look at... So it's OH5 is what I need. So now we're going to go to this special Bluejay link. And we're going to look for OH5. I have a live stream called... Just search my channel for Bluejay and you'll find it. There's a link to this in here. OH5, where are you? OH5, there it is. So I want OH5 48. I want the extra efficiency of 48. All right, cool. So then we come here, and it is on BLHeli-S. Yeah, so that's where some of the problems are. Flash all ESCs, and we're gonna flash. We're gonna flash local firmware, local as in on my drive on the computer. And then we're going to go to downloads, and there it is, OH5, open, and away it goes. Reversed, normal. I got to remember that. I don't think it'll change that, but yeah. Walter says this is a big help. Kilo Zebra says, oh no, we got that. Mutterton says, is that the BetaFPV Cross AIO? All of mine came with PWM set to 96. They do indeed. If you haven't flashed it already. Yeah, it should be flashed already. Should be. Some guy FPV says, speaking of props, I've heard you mention it before, but why do you prefer bi-blades over something like HQ Ultralight and something high KV? The bi-blades are more slippery, which just sort of more emulates like the way that other rigs fly. I don't know, it's weird. It just sails through the air better. Although I have been playing around with the HQ props and they're damn good. So yeah, the one rig that I put onto those propellers, I've left it on those propellers because I was so impressed by them. But yeah, every time I come back to the tri-blades, the bi-blades rather, I just like them. I just like them better. What was it? Reverse, normal? Right? Okay. No. Let's set them all to normal, and we'll go into BetaFlight super quick. Ah, shitters. Normal. Right settings. Okay. Disconnect. Hop into BetaFlight real fast here. I have the battery hooked up. It's fine. Motors. Motor direction. Wizard. Go. Motor 1. Wrong. 2. Wrong. 3 is right. 4 is right. How the hell is that? What? Why did that happen? 1 is correct. 2 is correct. 3 is correct. 4 is correct. That's weird. That's very weird. But life's weird. All right. Let's make sure that problem went away. Basically what was happening, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but when I would go full throttle, it would start to like hiccup and shit. It would like that is a thing that happens on Bluejay 0.17, 0.18, and 0.19 sometimes. And it definitely happens in BL Heli. I don't know. There's some mystical magic, but with Bluejay 0.16 that prevents that from happening a lot. God, the ugly OSD is back. Come on, HD0 goggles. Let's go! Come on. There they are. What? I guess I turned the transmitter off. Yeah, I did. Come on. Come on. There it is. Nope. Still happening. Well, hold on. Oh, no, it's good. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, it's... No, it's doing it. What the hell's happening? Weird. Huh. Very peculiar. See it in there? You hear it too. Oh, it could be, hold on. Hold on. Could just be a PID problem. Nope, see it's doing it there. Weird. I'm trying to think of what the hell that is. Oh, God, why? There's Crash Recovery helping a brother out. I have no idea why it's acting weird like that, full throttle, and I'm trying to think of what that would be. Oh, God! I don't know what that is. Shit, man. I'm gonna have to think about it. Usually it's an ESC thing. Somebody was confused why I put the digital idle down so low. I like the motors to really spin down at 0 throttle. And I haven't found that running it really low like that causes any issues. So I tend to just do that. Let's get up in there. There we are. Oh! Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. Leave me alone. This battery is done. I flew this one down too low as well. Why do I keep doing that? All right, friends. I'm tired. I'm hungry. We are going to pick this back up on Sunday. Sunday, we're going to have round 2 of fixing the fleet because there's a bunch more work that needs to get done. So this was part 1. Come on back Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern time for round 2. Kilo Zebra says, I've found recently 2 of my 702 motors were slipping between the shaft and the bell. Do you have a favorite adhesive for keeping the shaft from slipping? Yep, Loctite 638. This is exactly what you would want, what you need. It's retaining compound. This is the stuff. Just be really careful. You have to only get it in that specific spot. If you get it anywhere else, it's going to get on the bushings and it's going to be bad. I think we're good to go. Thanks, friends. I'll see you again on Sunday. Be good. Have an awesome weekend. Go fly. Do your 6 batteries a day. I didn't do quite 6, but we did a few. Love you. Bye. I'm not ready. Thanks for hanging, people. That battery wasn't too bad. I put it on the charger just now. It's at 3.7. There's something going on here. There's something weird going on. I need to figure it out. I think I just figured it out. I think the USB port is pushing up against... Yep. USB port is pushing up against the carbon fiber frame. I can't wait to get these off these carbon fiber frames. They're just such a pain. Thanks, friends. Be good. I'm still not ready. Just saying that same thing unfortunately didn't make me magically ready. At the beginning of the stream, I played you flight footage from the walk snail in the 75 Pro frame on 1002 23,500 kV motors on the 45mm tri-blades. Now I'm going to play you flight footage from this guy, the 75mm build on 802 33,000 kV motors on the 1.6-inch bi-blades. Ready? Here you go. Thanks for hanging, friends. Bye-bye. I'm still not ready. I turn the subtitles off. They're terrible. They're terrible. Here it is. I'm already flying around. Be good. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.